In Jodo Shinshu tradition, Obon is called kangie, or the gathering of joy. And it doesn't mean let's all get together and have a good time and enjoy ourselves. It means the gathering of those people who have experienced the truth, and therefore the joy that comes from having experienced that truth.
It relates to the experience of the monk Moggallana, who had envisioned his mother in a state of purgatory. Moggallana sought counsel of the Buddha Shakyamuni to alleviate this condition. Moggallana was able to free himself from this anxiety through his deep religious insight and understanding of the Buddha Dharma. And as a result, he was caused to jump up with joy, and this was the beginning of what we have today, Bon Odori.
Historically, when our immigrant grandparents came, they came at a very young age. I think the average age was 17. So that when they came, they had just vaguely childhood memories of what religious functions were. And they came to West Coast United States, and the whole history of first and second generations has been very anti-Japanese or anti-Asian, so that they were not welcomed. And the one thing that rooted them to a past that was supporting was this one festival called Obon.
We of the Jodo Shinshu must come to understand that the true spirit of kangie, that the gathering of joy can come about only through our own deeper understanding of the Buddha Dharma, just as it was in the case of the monk Moggallana. We dance not for the dead, but to truly appreciate and understand the tremendous karmic relationship abounding with those who have come to pass, and also to become aware of the impermanence of all life.
There's a trend to go back to the original Obon as a folk dance and a religious exercise for ourselves, for our own benefit, not as a show to bring other people in. So the dances have become more and more simplified, the dress more and more simple, and more people of all ages dancing, as it was in the early beginnings here.
I was artist in residence at Senshin Buddhist Temple this year. I was able to, over a period of time, to be a part of the process of making this whole event come together.
In this area, dancing-wise anyway, maybe 800 to 900 would fit. That's not including the people who would be, watching.
Okay, well, how the circle is going to be? Is it going to be oval, or is it going to be?
Well, if the Yagoda is right here,
yeah.
in order, just to fit it, we're going to have to put oval.
We went through a series of meetings where Reverend Moss and the dance teachers came together and discussed what they saw Obon as being, and
Yeah, I know, they don't.
the true meaning of Obon.
And I think a lot of times when we first started dancing, the only kind of clothes our parents had
Were
were the kimonos, so we
Well,
were
see, that's
wearing
how,
kimonos.
yeah,
on us.
historically that's how it started. Because the Issei's, every Issei woman had one very good kimono they brought from Japan. And it was the only occasion to wear it. And so historically it started that way.
It's part Japanese, with the instruments and English in there. It's us. I mean, Japanese American, right?
We do have not only a tradition that comes from Japan, but we have a fairly long tradition of Japanese American experience in this country, and that has affected how we look at Bon-Odori. Having been here for 80 years, at least officially, 80 years as a Buddhist institution, it's time we came up with our own expression of Bon-Odori in terms of the dance and the music.
I think the steps that we do and the movements that we do are just like what we've been doing before. I don't think it's modern, but it's now something that we can hear and understand. And because we can understand it, I think when you're dancing, it's with a different feeling.
In trying to be Japanese American, we find ourselves going back to really traditional things that even in Japan are being disregarded. So that in one sense, paradoxically, we are more traditional in many ways than present-day Japanese society is. On the one hand, we're traditional in the sense we're very group-oriented, and that the group is far more important than the individuals who make up that group. In that sense, it's very traditional. At the same time, we're American enough to be very independent as well. How that fits together, or whether it can, from an American point of view, is not possible. It's like water and oil. But from our point of view, that's what we are. We're a rather homogeneous mixture of water and oil.
Working in the temple system is kind of incredible because they're very, very organized. And once we decided on the dance and they said they liked the song, they learned it in a small group, say less than 20 people. And these people go out and teach it to their temples, 18 different temples all over the Southern District. And then this dance was performed in all these 18 temples without me even having gone out and taught anybody else the dance. It just spread out. And they've all done it, and now they're coming together, and all the 18 temples are going to do it together.
I think when you face each other, too, you're acknowledging each other, and you know, you kind of recognize everybody, and sometimes it's somebody you haven't met for a long time, and it's good, I think, to face each other and acknowledging that, you know, that person or the other person is there, and you just have a grand time doing it.
One way of explaining Bon-Dori is to dance, to consciously dance unconsciously, or to unconsciously dance consciously, whichever way you want to put it. It's a very delicate moment in which you're fully involved in what you're doing, but you're not watching yourself do it. There's no sense of, look at me, I'm doing well. Because when that moment comes, you lose it.
In that way, a person can really forget themselves, and I think that's one of the point of the song, is we want people to lose themselves in the dance. We don't want them to be self-conscious or think, oh, I'm doing this good now, or oh, I made a mistake. It's the kind of dance that there is no mistake. You just do it. You just dance, and that's it.
We're trying to return to, again, a more traditional form of live music being played for Bon-Dori. Except this time, the musicians, it's their music. In fact, it's music they, in fact, created, the lyrics they wrote, and the dance they choreographed. So it's a kind of special occasion. It's a first for us. It's the first time that Japanese Americans have written their own Bon-Dori.
Actually, I didn't create this dance, and I didn't create this song. It came about by my absorbing or being a medium for other people. Mas fed to me all this different kind of Indian music and Buddhist music and folk music, and eventually it just came to me how it should sound. The musicians are all third-generation Japanese, Sansei, and many of them have never performed music like this before. Some of them haven't even played the shamisen and have never sung what is called kakegoe, or the kind of chorus. And it was very touching to me to see these teenage kids come up and say, well, I'll do it, I'll do it. For them to stand up and say, yeah, I want to sing, or I want to do this. It was, to me, that's what made it worth it, because that's what this was about, was trying to make it mean something for the young people, and I think we did that.
Traditionally, each temple holds its own individual Obon observance. And I think for everyone who has encountered a temple, we all know that there is a group of people who, through the decades, have worked on this. And it's usually the same people who do the same job, and that through all these years, they've managed to maintain this tradition for us. And so this year is very unique in that now we are incorporating all ages to participate in this event. We have many of the older people who have been taking care of certain duties for decades. Now they are passing this on to the younger people. And this is why today here, you'll be able to see, predominantly right now at this moment, the young people are decorating the Yagura, which is where the Obon will be centered around. And the dance will be centered around the Yagura. And so the sound system, the taiko, the dances itself, this will be coordinated by all age groups.
Oh, it's been typically Buddhist. We weren't sure anybody was going to show up this morning, which is typical. And then everyone does, which is typical. So it's true to form. But it's very, there's nothing definite. It's a very nebulous kind of thing. We always operate this way. In our doctrine of Buddhism, the whole idea of Buddhist awakening for our school is summed up in this one phrase, Namu Amida Butsu. So it's hard to explain. You spend a lifetime trying to really understand what that means. So the idea was to dance what we say vocally, to do physically by dancing under a sea of Namu Amida Butsu. So that's why we're putting all these balloons up right now.
Sunset, sky turning indigo, moon and stars begin their evening dance, circle in the sky. And when you're saying that, and then you feel the sky turning blue, and you see the circle of stars, the circle of people, it really all fits together.
May you dance this evening with that same self-same spirit, freed from the shackles of the ego, filled with joy and gratitude, the true spirit of Kangie. Thank you very much.